you just the same. Why should we tamper with that, brothers and sisters? Why should you tamper with that? Why should you put chemicals to kill your hair? But do you know that when you put those chemicals, hot burning chemicals into your hair, you actually kill your hair? You're killing your hair. You're murdering your hair. That's why when you put it in your hair goes limp. When anything dies, it limps, right? Like if you're sitting in a chair right now, you are erect. That symbolizes that you are alive. But if you was to fall over right now and die, you will be limp. Limp symbolizes death. So when you put that hot chemical into your hair to burn your head, you're killing your hair. That's why it goes like that. That's why it flows down limp. Because you have just murdered your hair. You have just taken away life. Because that erect hair symbolizes life. That woolly hair that the Most High says he had. But not only do he have it, his son has it. His unique son has it. Revelation 1:14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes was as flames of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they had burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. Now look at this. This is a description of Yahushua, the son of Yah. Daniel chapter 7 told us that the Ancient of Days, which is the Father Yah, had hair like pure wool. Pure wool. Wow, wow, wow. And then we see his son has hair that was white like wool and white as snow. Now, right here, see, this is where they try to throw a little deception in at. It says his hair and his hair was white like wool, as white as snow. So what we're saying here, the whiteness of his hair is being compared to snow. But what it's actually telling you is that his hair was like wool. Now, if you want see, when they say that it's very white, the whiteness is compared to snow, right? So they throw in here his hair was white like wool. What should have been his hair was pure like wool. Just like we read in Daniel 7:9. But they try to throw a little deception in and say, well, they're not saying that he has woolly hair, but that his hair is white like wool. And then it goes on as white as snow. When have you ever seen a lamb wool as white as snow? No, the comparison of white as snow is saying that he has white hair, but it goes on to say that he has feet like unto fine brass. Brass is a metal that's already brownish in color. Then it says, as if it burned in a furnace. You burn anything in a furnace, it is black.
Jesus was black, the Bible would have said so.
But it does say so.
What are you talking about?
I read about it. It's in Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. I read about it in Muhammad Speaks. It says, his hair is like wool, and his eyes are like flame of fire.
Oh, Lord have mercy. It sure do say that, don't it?
And see, Mama, look at that hair, like wool, ain't it? And look at them eyes, red like fire.
Yeah, they sure is.
So we see this is a description of Yahushua, and now we can understand why he was taken into Egypt, because he was black just like they were black, as I've been telling you. So brothers and sisters, my brothers and sisters, don't kill your hair. Go natural. Go the way the Most High has deemed for you to go. If our hair texture is good enough for him, it's good enough for his people, it's good enough for his son, oh man, well, what makes you any better? Our people had woolly hair in the scriptures, which signified that they were a black people. And I hope up until now that you are getting this information, that the Most High is opening your understanding to whom you are, to whom he is, and he's letting you know. Now let's go to the book of Lamentations. The book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 10. It says, our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Wow, this is deep. Now what it says here is that this is speaking about one of the times when Israel was being bombarded by one of their enemies, and they were locked in to the land of Israel. And they were in famine. They were in famine during this time. A famine had came. And so Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah, wrote Lamentations, and he said, our skin was black like an oven. What is he saying? Because of the terrible famine. Well, Jeremiah was saying that their skin had got charcoal black. Charcoal black. And what he is explaining here is that when this famine came, because when black people, black-skinned people, get sick or are in famine, our skin gets dark. It turns dark. If you have ever seen anybody on a kidney dialysis machine and have kidney problems, they get dark. If you have ever seen anybody battling cancer, any black person battling cancer, and as you see, as the cancer, as they fight against that disease go along, they get darker and darker. And in fact, that's how you know that they are sick, because they have got darker than their original skin tone. So when we see that in Africa, when those people are in famine, they get black. Their skin get black, because that's what happened. Pardon me. That's what happened. That always happened with when black people are in famine or we are sick, our skin get black. So Jeremiah is saying black like an oven. If you ever looked at the bottom of your oven, the bottom of your oven is black. It gets blackened because the heat comes up from the bottom, and it comes from the bottom and rises up to the top. So the bottom is first to get burned. You got all the heat in the oven, and it's going to get burned. If you ever looked in the bottom of your barbecue grill, you know where you put all the charcoal at. The barbecue grill at the bottom is going to be blackened, because that's where the fire is and that's where the heat is. So he's saying that their skin had gotten charcoal black because of the terrible famine. Wow, wow. So we know that Jeremiah right here is describing a black people, because when white people get sick or are in famine, they get pale, ghostly white. That's how you can tell if one of them are sick, because the tint of their skin, if it gets real pale, oh, you know that that's a person that's sick. We have images of this. Look at this. The Jews were in famine during the Second World War. Hitler did a lot of terrible things to them and a lot of other people. But the Jews were in famine during the Second World War. Look at these images on your screen. These are those Jews that were in famine. Have any of their skin turned black like an oven? Charcoal black? No, it is pale white. You see how skinny they are, so you can tell that they are in famine. You know, they look like human skeletons. That was terrible. But do you see their skin turning black? Is their skin black? Because that's what Jeremiah said. He said our skin, our being the Israelites, skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. So we see that these Ashkenazi Jews, European Jews, are in famine, but yet their skin is white, pale white, because when white people are in famine, this is the color that their skin get. So we know that Jeremiah was talking about a black